Streaming live now on News8000.com. You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now, This Morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dua Esrar.
I'm Derek Sibley.
It is September 22nd, 2023. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I can't believe we missed this yesterday. Do you remember?
I thought she was losing her train of thought for a second.
No,
I was going to laugh so hard.
I'm so upset we missed this yesterday because this would have been such a funny little thing. Do you remember what yesterday was? Do you remember?
Do I remember what yesterday was? Yesterday was Thursday.
The 21st of September.
Oh, okay. She would pull that.
I was like, you got to do a little dance, and I remembered when I got home, and I was like, darn it, that would have been so funny to do.
That would have been perfect for the morning show.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, now you're a little late.
Now we've got, do you remember
have to
the
wait till next year
22nd of September?
Well,
we'll be ready.
We'll be ready for next year.
Prepared. We'll put it in the calendar starting now.
Exactly. Well, hey, it's the 22nd.
I know. Well,
we're tracking rain. All right, we're going to weather now because our producer said so.
Yeah.
So we have some. Yeah, exactly. They're boring. We have some showers that are currently moving through portions of the Coulee region right now. And these are some of these, just really hit and miss that you may have to run into. But our current temperatures are into the 60s, 64 in La Crosse, 60 in Eau Claire, 63 in Winona. And in Sparta, you're currently at 61 degrees. All right, so as we take a look now at your planner for the rest of the day, again, just some of those hit and miss showers that you could run into. Otherwise, cloudy skies today, with afternoon highs into the mid-70s later into the afternoon. So these showers could affect your dog walking conditions out there. So just bear that in mind with you and your furry friend as we take a look at your allergy report, looking at some high allergens of ragweed, weed, and mold. And the ragweed and lamb's quarter pollen are the majority of the pollen on the latest air sample, according to the Allergy Associates of La Crosse. We'll have a check on your full weather forecast coming up in a few minutes, plus your school cast, and we'll time out some of those rain chances coming up later. Dua?
Thanks, Derek. Well, let's get to some news this morning. A Coon Valley woman facing drug-related charges has had her case dismissed by the state. That's because it's been moved to federal court. Julia Lloyd and Stanley Holt were arrested in June following a multi-agency drug investigation. At the end of August, Lloyd and Holt were indicted in federal court. According to the indictment, they allegedly possessed 500 grams or more of meth. They were also charged for maintaining a drug house. If convicted, they both face a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years for meth distribution charges. Maintaining a drug house potentially carries a 20-year sentence. A group of unsheltered residents were displaced yesterday. They were camping underneath the bridge at Cameron Avenue and 2nd Street. Members of the Parks Department set up fences after the police department notified the people that they would have to move. A representative from the mayor's office says this is the standard practice for compliance of the Board of Public Works no camping ordinance. With parks and parking ramps also off limits for camping and local shelters full, the question is, where will unhoused people go? Students and community members are asking questions over its school district taking down a pride flag in the high school library. An anonymous GET student says a teacher had put up an LGBTQ pride flag in the high school library, and the school later took it down. The school district on September 13th sent a release to the community. It said legal representatives of the Wisconsin Association of School Boards told the district that if they displayed that flag, then the school is obligated to fly any other flag. The statement then went on to say the pride flag is not banned and that flags can be displayed as part of instruction, but a First Amendment expert with UW Extension tells us that in this case, those legal representatives are wrong to require equality. He tells us a school employee putting up the flag is considered government speech, and government speech does not require equality. So as an example, the appearance of a pride flag would not force the school district to also allow something like a Nazi flag. This is a developing story, and we will update it as the situation moves forward. The future of La Crosse's Washburn Community Gardens is up in the air. Mayo recently announced it would be selling the land it owns along 10th Street between Ferry and Division Streets. That includes the community garden space. 360 Real Estate will be purchasing that land. Mayo and 360 have been working together to gather input from the community to create a shared vision for the future of the space. Mayo's senior communications specialist says it was important to find a partner that would meet the needs and wants identified by the surrounding neighborhood. One of the identified needs was ample green space according to the development plan. There is 14,000 square feet set aside as garden space, but gardeners who use the Washburn space are worried they won't have the same access to the garden once 360 owns the land. One gardener says they knew Mayo would eventually sell, but they were hoping for a couple more years.
We are really sad. We just feel blindsided in a way. We know that we were on a short leash here, but we didn't expect the leash to be as short as it turned out to be.
He also says he's not sure where he'd go if he can't use the future garden. Mayo has recently told the gardeners to remove anything they want to keep from the garden before the ground freezes. There will be a Washburn Neighborhood Association meeting next Tuesday that will go further into the plans for the future garden. That meeting starts at 6:30 at the American Legion. Enrollment is up at UWL. The college says it's because of an improved retention rate and a large first-year class. UWL's overall enrollment was at 10,327 on the 10th day of the semester, 25 more students than the same day last year. The school says it's retained 86.5% of the 2022-23 first-year class. That's the highest mark in a decade. UWL's enrollment of summer and fall transfer students also saw a slight increase. The Habitat for Humanity of Greater La Crosse has received a grant from Wells Fargo to build more homes. The money is going towards 2 housing projects in Onalaska. One project is an interior renovation. The second will be building a house from the ground up. As part of the grant, Wells Fargo employees will also be volunteering their time to work on the houses. The executive director for Habitat says her organization wouldn't be able to help so many people without the help of community businesses.
I think it's just so important to understand, how wonderful our community here in La Crosse is and how all of our local businesses and lenders really understand the importance of providing safe and affordable homes for our families.
Thanks to the community's support, Fox says that Habitat Humanity for Greater La Crosse is expanding services to Monroe County. After 4 days of hunting, the Oktoberfest medallion has been found. Peggy Mason and her daughter found the medallion at the start of Wood Duck Trail near Forest Hills in La Crosse. This is the second time Manson has found the medallion. She first found it 16 years ago at the Health Science Academy. She says finding the medallion is a family effort and that research is the key to their success.
It's fun to do it with so many other people, and we learn. I think my daughters and I know more about history and my son than most people in La Crosse, just from researching these clues.
Manson won a $500 gift certificate and a replica of the medallion. She was also given tickets to the Festmasters Ball. Manson gave some advice to future medallion hunters. Don't get caught up in your first guess because it's most likely not there. Oktoberfest isn't the only fest fun coming up. Today is the first day of CranFest. The Warrens Cranberry Festival is set to celebrate 50 years of tradition this weekend. The world's largest cranberry festival is free to attend, and thousands sure do, all to experience Wisconsin's major crop. Organizers say CranFest brings the county more than $4 million in revenue each year. The annual Plein Air Painting Between the Bluff Festival will be hosting a few events this weekend. The weekend-long festival starts with an artist reception and awards at 6 till 9 tonight at Studio Gallery in 1311 in La Crosse. On Saturday, there will be a quick paint competition at La Crosse's Grandad Bluff City Park starting at 10. They will also be holding their gallery art show and sale on Saturday from 11 till 4 and on Sunday from noon to 3. That event will be free to attend, and all of the paintings will be original works created within a 15-mile radius of downtown La Crosse. Well, still ahead on your morning news, a startling new report is showing that more babies are continuing to die from products that have been deemed unsafe. We'll hear from one father's tragic story that he hopes can help save other children. And a major conservative media mogul is stepping down from his position in the corporate world. We'll tell you who it is. That and more is coming up this morning. But for now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Hobbits are amazing creatures. You can learn all there is to know about their ways in a month, and yet after 100 years, they can still surprise you. Today is World Hobbit Day. If you're a fan of the books by J.R.R. Tolkien or the movies by Peter Jackson, today is a day to celebrate. It also can be a day to act as hobbits do. That means feel free to have 7 meals and walk around barefoot today. The most famous hobbits are Bilbo Baggins and his nephew Frodo of the Shire. Don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now this morning is after the break.
Mainly cloudy conditions stand right now across the Coulee region, but we are watching a couple of light showers that you could run into coming up from the south currently. So hit and miss showers are certainly possible for that morning commute, with temperatures into the 60s, 64 degrees now in La Crosse, and it's 60 up towards the north if you're in Eau Claire. Let's take a look at that zone forecast for today for you. And we're talking about high temperatures a little bit cooler than we've been experiencing lately today. Highs mainly into the mid 70s in La Crosse County. As we head south, we're looking at temperatures at 73 in Soldiers Grove, 71 today in Viroqua, and we're looking at 73 to the east if you're in Hillsborough this afternoon. As we head into our central zones today, mid 70s here with 74 in Blair, 74 today in Arcadia, and 75 in Osseo. Will be 77 today in Eau Claire with a mix of clouds and sunshine and a slight chance of a shower. And speaking of slight chances of showers, it's in the forecast for the bus stop forecast, 65 degrees with some scattered showers. And as we head back home from school, we're talking about 75 degrees with a chance of seeing some of those hit and miss showers here today as well. So speaking of rain chances, that's in the forecast as well coming up here tonight in the next few days. We'll talk about that in the full weather forecast in a few minutes.
In your consumer news this morning, Rupert Murdoch, arguably the most powerful media mogul in the world, is stepping down from Fox. The 92-year-old billionaire will step down as chairman of Fox in November. The move comes as Fox struggles to recover from a tough year, having fired popular personality Tucker Carlson and settled a lawsuit for nearly $800 million. Murdoch's son Lachlan will take over control of both Fox and its parent company, Fox News Corp. Talks between the Writers Guild and major Hollywood speakers have broken down once again. After a marathon negotiation session lasting more than 10 hours, the two sides reportedly parted ways without a deal in place. WGA members picketed outside Netflix studios this week. They've been on strike since May 2nd, now 2 weeks shy of the longest strike in Hollywood history. They're asking for better wages and AI job protections. A new government report shows 160 children die every year in accidents associated with nursery products. Ashar Qureshi tells us why.
He was very playful, always smiling. He was just a happy baby.
When we met Keenan Overton last year, he told us about his baby boy Ezra. In 2017, Keenan placed him in an inclined sleeper similar to this one at bedtime. But when Keenan woke up, the baby was face down and unresponsive. The 5-month-old had died.
What was that moment like for you?
It was the worst day of my life, obviously.
The inclined sleeper and similar products were eventually recalled, but some are unfortunately still in use. A new report from the Consumer Product Safety Commission shows between 2018 and 2020, 46 children died in inclined products not intended for sleep.
Babies can become entrapped in an inclined sleeper where the baby can roll over into an unsafe space.
The CPSC's Nikki Fleming says it's not just inclined products. The report found about 100 babies die every year in other sleep spaces.
Most of the deaths were associated with extra bedding being added to the sleep space, including pillows, quilts, comforters, any soft bedding that can conform to the baby's nose and mouth and block their airway can cause suffocation.
Fleming says cribs, bassinets, and similar products should have nothing in them except for a fitted sheet.
Also, always place your baby to sleep on their backs.
A simple step that could help prevent a tragedy.
Experts say it's important to check if any products you own have been recalled. You can find out more at cpsc.gov. Well, Well, that's it for your morning consumer news. Let's check in with Derek and get today's forecast.
All right, thanks so much for that, Joe. Off to a quiet start this morning, but a little cloudy out there with temperatures at 64 degrees now in La Crosse. Slightly warmer here at the TV station at 66 downtown. South-southeast winds light at 7 miles an hour. If you're in Eau Claire, mostly cloudy skies here as well. Temperatures now at 60 degrees. Meanwhile, as we take a look at the satellite and radar picture, you can see plenty of clouds moving in across the area this morning with some light showers also focused mainly down to the south, and they're moving their way towards the north and west. Current temperature readings are into the low 60s here for the most part, but 58, however, in Black River Falls, one of the cooler spots. Same in Volkfield at 59. Viroqua, you're currently at 61. Winona at 63. So as we take a look at your planner, overall, just watching some scattered showers that could become possible throughout the day today, with afternoon highs much cooler this time into the mid-70s. Thanks to all the cloud cover and moisture around, that should help cool us down. So we're under a bit of an unstable environment here for today in terms of our weather, giving us some cloud covers to work with throughout the day. Slight chance of a shower possible throughout this morning as well. And we could say the same thing as we head into this afternoon. But we will see some more widespread showers and thunderstorms that will move through the area as we head into tonight and also throughout the overnight. And as a matter of fact, some of these could even produce some locally heavy downpours at times as they track through with some of those showers and storms. And that could even linger as we head into tomorrow morning as well. And we really can't rule out tomorrow afternoon watching some scattered showers and thunderstorms that could even linger here tomorrow as well before this next big wave of showers and thunderstorms back towards the west associated with a trough of low pressure begins to move in. And again, some of those showers and storms that track through tomorrow and into tomorrow night could produce some locally heavy downpours at times as well. But as that line moves through, you can see it kind of weakening a little bit. So we have some rain chances, luckily, because we definitely need it. And as a matter of fact, we could be looking at anywhere between around that 1 to 3 inch mark, especially focused from La Crosse and Point South. And that's great news because that is where the majority of the drought is as far as that exceptional condition stands. And you can see the majority of the upper Midwest is looking at anywhere from a severe to extreme drought. Not too many changes here across the Coulee region. This was just updated yesterday, but you can see a darker red shade down to the south. That is the exceptional drought monitor status, which means that we are significantly below average in terms of rainfall there. Here's a check on your 8-day forecast, and you can see that we have those rain chances in the forecast through at least this weekend and also into early next week. The rest of next week looks mainly dry. Highs in the 70s, lows in the 50s and low 60s. Stay with us. We're back with much more news and weather still to come on News 8 Now this morning. For now, we're sending it a break with a look what happened on this day in history for September 22nd. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Blitz. So far, one of the biggest storylines of the season on the volleyball court has been the Vikings' dominance in conference play. Holman still hasn't lost a set to an MVC opponent this season. The Vikings opened the season against rival Aquinas back in late August. Last night, round 2. Blue Golds and Vikings squaring off for the second time this season. First set, Aquinas bringing the energy. Sammy Davis going up strong. Blue Golds up 1 early. Vikings strike back. It's the sophomore, Hadley Teff, finding the floor. We're all tied at 7. Holman would go up 4, but the Blue Golds battle back. Davis, a one-woman wrecking crew. The sophomore was everywhere in the first, and this is not a replay. Davis again going up high for the kill. Blue Golds would cut it back to just 1, but the Vikings pulling away. Raina McCardle to Lydia Olson for the slam. Holman heating up. Then later in the set, it's McCardle getting everyone involved. This time it's Izzy Jar dropping the hammer like the seniors done all season. Vikings back in the driver's seat. Then it's Charlie Casey providing the power. Vikings get tested early on. They win the first 25-21, and Holman continues its dominance in the MVC. Vikings get the 3-set sweep over Aquinas. Let's stay in the MVC. Rivals squaring off in Onalaska. Hilltoppers hosting Central. Toppers took the first 2. Claire Pedretti pounding the ground early in the 3rd. Onalaska rolling. Riverhawks respond, though. Nice dig by Central. That sets up this. Edie Weiss dropping 1 inside the line. Central cuts it back to just 1, but the Toppers take over. Haley Kopelke is going to sky high for the spike. Anna goes back up by 4. Then later in the set, again, it's Pedretti providing the spark. She was on a mission in the third. Another kill for the senior. Hilltoppers in control. Then on match point, it's the senior Peyton Mitchell putting the finishing touches on this one. And the celebration is on. Hilltoppers take down the rival Riverhawks in 3 sets. Let's check out undefeated Caledonia. Warriors at home hosting Rushford Peterson. To the first set we go. Liv Meyer gives it a little love tap over the net. Warriors fans loving it. Trojans come roaring back. Ava Helgamo dodges the blockers, makes it a 2-point game, but the Warriors come into play. Braylon Lang winds up, gets the kill, trying to keep their perfect record intact. Liv Meyer is going to put the exclamation mark on this one. She gets the kill with some heat. Warriors remain undefeated on the season. They improve to 13-0 as they get the win in 4 sets. Over to boys soccer in Arcadia. Holman looking to snag a win on the road. Only 2.5 minutes into this one, Andrew Ripp is going to rip this one past the keeper. Makes it 1-0 Vikings. Shortly after that, Holman is going to draw a penalty on the rush upfield. So Gavin Butel Davis is going to take the penalty kick. And he barely misses it, just wide of the net. Holman inches away from doubling its lead. Defense was the name of the game in this one. Vikings have been a scoring machine as of late. They only scored 2 last night, but it's more than enough to get the 2-0 shutout win over the Raiders. Staying on the pitch, big win for the Riverhawks at home last night. Central getting a pair of goals from both Devin Wilkerson and Arlo Wilker as the Riverhawks take down rival Logan 5-2. Brewers looking for the series win in St. Louis. Milwaukee striking first. Top 3, Blake Perkins gives this one a ride high and deep to right, and that ball's not coming back. Solo shot for Perkins puts the Brewers on top. It would stay that way. In the 5th, Sal Frelick lines a base hit the other way. Bryce Terang trots home from 3rd. Frelick puts on the brakes at first. RBI single makes it 2-0. Top 6, runners on the corners for Andrew Monasterio. He fights that one off in a left for a base hit. Willie Adames comes home to make it 3-0 Crew. And then later in the inning, Victor Caratini is going to blow this one wide open. He scorches this one to right, and it's over the wall for a 3-run shot. Brewers take a 6-run lead. They go on to win it 6-0 the final. Their magic number to clinch the NL Central is now down to just 2. That's going to do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
The news continues on News 8 Now. Expect more.
The House canceled votes and the Senate recessed for the week with just days left to avert a potential government shutdown. This all comes as Ukraine's president was in Washington yesterday to press for more aid in its fight against Russia, something Republicans are split over. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill has more from New York.
Sources tell CBS News the Biden administration will begin calling the heads of government agencies today to plan for a potential October 1st shutdown.
The resolution is not adopted.
Yesterday on Capitol Hill, a GOP clash in the House after they failed to bring up a defense funding bill for a 3rd time. Perhaps a preview of what's to come with just over a week for Congress to act on government spending legislation.
We need the extreme MAGA Republicans to get their act together.
Some far-right Republicans have come out against passing a short-term continuing resolution to keep the government funded.
CRs are like Lay's potato chips. You never seem to be able to stop at just one.
Aid to Ukraine remains a key sticking point for Republicans.
I have red lines, and mine are no funding for the war in Ukraine.
You don't defund the whole DOD for that.
The unrest on the Hill came as Ukraine's president met with lawmakers, military leaders, and President Biden.
We're with you, and we're staying with you.
President Biden has requested an additional $24 billion in humanitarian and military aid for Ukraine.
Some lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have introduced a bill to stop members of Congress from getting paid if there is a shutdown. Wisconsin State Superintendent says cutting diversity, equity, and inclusion programs hurts children of color and LGBTQ+ students. Superintendent Dr. Jill Underly's comments came during her annual State of Education address. She also criticized legislators for politicizing education. Earlier this week, Assembly Speaker Robin Vos announced he would block pay raises for University of Wisconsin employees unless the university cuts DEI spending by $32 million. Some Assembly Republicans want to impeach the state's top elections official. The 5 legislators, all from eastern Wisconsin, put forward 15 articles of impeachment seeking to oust Megan Wolf. Many of the articles accuse Wolf of rigging the 2020 election, claims that have been proven false. Wolf, in a statement, says the claims against her are attempts to distort the truth. The proposal is the latest move after the state Senate voted to fire Wolf last week. Democrats argue that vote wasn't legal because the Wisconsin Elections Commission never had a majority vote to send her nomination to the Senate. That point aside, it's unclear if the impeachment proposal will actually be taken up. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos has to create a committee before any impeachment takes place. One of the Republicans behind the impeachment proposal openly embraces debunked election conspiracy theories and supported Vos's opponent last election. A liberal watchdog says Vos's impeachment advisory panel violated Wisconsin open meetings law. American Oversight filed a complaint to the Dane County DA saying the panel is a governmental body formed in secret. Wisconsin open meetings law requires governmental bodies provide advance notice of every meeting and hold those meetings in open session unless specific exemptions apply. The complaint seeks to get a court ruling to block any panel action. A Stevens Point man is using wood turning as a way to support those who are fighting cancer. Dominique O'Neill explains how the project has a special meaning for wood turner Jim Anderson.
Wood turning is not your typical project to support cancer patients, but for Jim Anderson, it hits close to home. The idea to use his wood turning skills for wig stands was born from a talk with his doctor when he was treated for cancer in the spring.
I like it. It gives you a purpose to what you're doing, and some actually at the same time you can be creative. You can do what you like to do and turn wood.
Anderson says 100 wig stands have been distributed to multiple cancer clinics in central Wisconsin, including Aspirus and Marshfield clinics.
To be able to provide it to someone and to fulfill a need, it also provides a kind of spark for them and for a little brighter day for them in some of the dismal times they're going through.
Anderson creates the wig stands in his home shop. His work is really making a difference for cancer patients.
We've been hearing from the coordinators is that they're delighted. One woman even said she was going to keep it after she was done and call it a trophy, so she'd have something to remind her what she went through and how she successfully managed to get through it.
And the process of this wood turning takes about an hour to 2 hours minimum to put together. Jim is not the only one making wig stands. 30 to 40 people from wood turning clubs he's a part of are also helping.
They find satisfaction in it too, because a lot of them like to turn, but they don't have anything to do with the wood after they're done with it. So this gives them something they can make that they can actually pass on and somebody will appreciate and use.
And Jim says they plan to continue making these wig stands for years to come.
Now here's Derek to tell us what to expect for our morning commute.
All right, thanks for that, Duo. We are tracking a couple of light showers here on the radar this morning, but the rest of us just looking at some mainly cloudy weather conditions with temperature readings now into the 60 degrees currently in Eau Claire, 64 in La Crosse. Temperatures in Sparta currently at 61 degrees. Winona, you're waking up to 63 degrees. Forecast overall today calls for a high of about 76 degrees, cloudy skies, some showers are possible. Southeast winds today at around 5 to 15 miles an hour. As we head into tonight, showers and thunderstorms are more likely, though, with temperatures at around 65. Cloudy skies, otherwise east-southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Today's mowing forecast shows us that we are looking at a slight chance of, some of those hit-and-miss showers. Otherwise, just a mainly cloudy day with temperatures well into the low to mid-70s this afternoon. I'll have a final check on your full weather forecast coming up in a few minutes, and we'll talk more about these upcoming rain chances.
Well, before we head to break, it's time for today's Look Who's 8.
Twins Ava and Max are turning 8. Now Ava loves gymnastics, makeup, and dogs, and Max loves video games and all sports.
Aria is also 8 years old today. She's spunky, caring, and has a love for cats and dogs.
Well, if you know a special someone turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab. Stay with us. We'll have Mrs. Oktoberfest Regina Siegel with us in studio.
Very cloudy start here behind me from City Cam 8 in downtown La Crosse. As you can see there, very gloomy skies, 64 degrees, south-southeast winds at around 7 miles an hour. And as we take a look at Eau Claire, currently looking at some mostly cloudy skies, temperatures at around 60 degrees with northeast winds light at around 5 miles an hour. Plenty of cloud cover right now across the Coulee region with some light showers beginning to track their way from the southeast, moving in the general direction of us towards the north and northwest. Current temperatures are into the low to mid 60s. 61 is the temperature now in Sparta. It's 63 degrees in Winona and 61 right now in Viroqua. And as we take a look at your overall planner, we're tracking some off and on hit and miss, some scattered showers that could become possible today with afternoon highs expected to reach the mid 70s. 77 today in Eau Claire, and it will be 76 this afternoon if you're in La Crosse. So Sky Tracker picking up on some of those showers right now. We're under the influence of a bit of an unstable air mass here for us to work with today. That could lead to some more clouds and some scattered off and on showers throughout the morning. And the same can be said here as we take you into this afternoon. Here comes some more widespread showers and thunderstorms. Some of these could even produce some locally heavy downpours at times as they move through tonight and also into overnight, especially with some of those showers and thunderstorms as they move through. And we could even be tracking some of these still as we head into tomorrow morning just after sunrise or so as they continue to make their way across the Coulee region. And by tomorrow afternoon, probably not as widespread, but still looking at some leftover showers and a couple of thunderstorms. Now, I am watching this next disturbance back towards the west, trough of low pressure, which is going to bring us a wave of showers and thunderstorms. As you can see, that line starts to move its way towards the east, but as it does move east, it is going to weaken here a little bit, but we are still talking about some good shower and thunderstorm activity that could track through tomorrow and also into tomorrow night. And rainfall tracker is showing anywhere between around 1 to 3 inches of rain, locally higher totals, especially focused down towards the south, which, by the way, that is where the highest drought category exists, that exceptional drought status, mainly down to our southern community. So we definitely could use the rain around here, and that 1 to 3 inch mark should help put a dent if everything comes to verification there. But a check on your 8-day forecast shows us that we will be looking at highs into the 70s over the next several days, watching for some rain chances that could last into Sunday. And then after that, heading into next week, things are just looking mainly dry with highs into the 70s and lows into the 50s and low 60s.
All right. Well, this morning we have Mrs. Oktoberfest Regina Siegel. How are you this morning?
Great. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
I am on top of the world. We're about to start with fest time and a little rain for good luck this morning. And I think it's just going to be a great couple weeks ahead.
Yeah.
Now, how does it feel to say that you're Mrs. Oktoberfest?
I have to tell you, I still literally pinch myself every morning, and my husband just laughs because I look at this sash and just think, wow, how did little old me from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, you know, we've lived here over 20 years, but become Mrs. Oktoberfest. So it truly is an honor to be among the mothers of our community who've kind of helped shape what we are today.
How much hard work went into, you know, being nominated as Mrs. Oktoberfest too, you think?
Well, when I was reaching a certain milestone birthday that allows us to be in the running for Mrs. Oktoberfest, I had a couple of friends contact me and ask if I would be willing to be nominated. And at that time, I didn't know a lot about the process, but that was on my birthday on February 15th. And it's just kind of been a whirlwind since then. And you know, you have to put together a bit of a bio and just talk about what you do in the community and why La Crosse and Oktoberfest are important to us.
So what are some of the duties of Mrs. Oktoberfest, you know, because we know that it's not just during Oktoberfest, you guys are involved throughout the year too.
Exactly, it really is a full year commitment, plus however many years I have left of my life. So Oktoberfest is truly a family. We're committed to the community. That's why it all began. And if you don't mind, I thought you might ask, so I brought this Festive Times book. I think there may be a couple of copies left in the Fest office, but this was written in 2011, 2010 to celebrate our 50th anniversary. So when Mrs. Oktoberfest began in 1968, you'll get a kick out of this. So contestants had to be 35 years old, that's much younger than the milestone birthday that you have to be now. Married and outstanding in community service. This was back in 1968. The entrants were judged on, and there were 80 entrants.
Wow.
Homemaking, participation in church, school, and civic affairs, poise and personality, cooking, and special talents and creative hobbies. And amongst the judges were a fashion coordinator and a home economist. So now you have to be 50 years old and dedicated to the community, family, and enjoy festing in every way that it is.
So like so far, you know, Oktoberfest is just barely beginning right now, or like the fest activities, but what has been your favorite thing so far, or something that you're looking really forward to?
Yeah, well, I had no idea when so Saturday, I was just revealed as Mrs. Oktoberfest, and there was just a gorgeous reception, at UWL in the Student Union, and there were 300 people there, and just being there in the midst of kind of these founders of lacrosse in so many ways was such an honor and a blessing. We had family coming from out of the area, and that has certainly been a highlight for me, spending time. It was like a wedding. My husband and I were able to go to tables and, you know, really see what makes Oktoberfest so special and our community so special.
Yeah.
Now, how does your husband feel about being Mr. Oktoberfest?
Yes. Well, I will say in the office, he happens to be the sheriff here of La Crosse County. I think he's gotten a couple, you know, he's been kidded a little bit, and people saying they can't wait to see his knees and his lederhosen. But in all honesty, the community service that I do, he's been there every step of the way. And I think it just really highlights how families can be involved and help the community. So he's been my biggest cheerleader and fan. He's also been one to run mascara to me when I forget it. And yeah, just the best support, and really trying to promote, you know, law enforcement, I should say. It's not always. Oktoberfest can be tricky. Sometimes people don't make their best decisions when they're in a crowd of thousands of people and, you know, maybe have a little too much to drink. So he's been great to temper the fun with Fest, along with making safe choices and making sure good decisions are made for our community.
So why do you think Oktoberfest is like so important to our community, in your opinion?
Well, in addition to the multi-millions of dollars that we bring in every year, I think it's a great way to spend time with those who you may not know.
Right.
I don't believe there are strangers. I believe they're just friends you haven't met yet. So you can meet friends from all over the globe in a nice area. There's family-friendly activities. We have the special Fester. We acknowledge diversity and inclusion with folks with all ability levels. Northside grounds for families. Fest grounds here if you want to have some great music and great fun.
That is so sweet. I love that. They're just friends you haven't met.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
I do like that saying.
Me too. Well, thank you so much for coming to talk to us about this. We can't wait to see you in all of your festivities later.
Terrific. Prost.
Well, stay with us. We'll be right back. In your morning news now, a Coon Valley woman facing drug-related charges has had her case dismissed by the state. That's because it's been moved to federal court. Julia Lloyd and Stanley Holt were arrested in June following a multi-agency drug investigation. At the end of August, Lloyd and Holt were indicted in federal court. According to the indictment, they allegedly possessed 500 grams or more of meth. They were also charged for maintaining a drug house. If convicted, they both face a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years for meth distribution charges. Maintaining a drug house potentially carries a 20-year sentence. A liberal watchdog says Voss's impeachment advisory panel violated Wisconsin open meetings law. American Oversight filed a complaint to the Dane County DA saying the panel is a governmental body formed in secret. Wisconsin open meetings law requires governmental bodies provide advance notice of every meeting and hold those meetings in open session unless specific exemptions apply. The complaint seeks to get a court ruling to block any panel action. The Habitat for Humanity of Greater La Crosse has received a grant from Wells Fargo to build more homes. The money is going towards 2 housing projects in Onalaska. One project is an interior renovation. The second will be building a house from the ground up. As part of the grant, Wells Fargo employees will also be volunteering their time to work on the houses. The executive director for Habitat says her organization wouldn't be able to help so many people without the help of community businesses.
I think it's just so important to understand, how wonderful our community here in La Crosse is and how all of our local businesses and lenders really understand the importance of providing safe and affordable homes for our families.
Thanks to the community support, Fox says that Habitat Humanity for Greater La Crosse is expanding to service Monroe County. After 4 days of hunting, the Oktoberfest medallion has been found. Peggy Mason and her daughter found the medallion at the start of Wood Duck Trail near Forest Hills in La Crosse. This is the second time Manson has found the medallion. She first found it 16 years ago at the Health Science Academy. She says finding the medallion is a family effort and that research is the key to their success.
It's fun to do it with so many other people, and we learn. I think my daughters and I know more about history and my son than most people in La Crosse, just from researching these clues.
Manson won a $500 gift certificate and a replica of the medallion. She was also given tickets to the Festmasters Ball. Manson gave some advice to future medallion hunters: don't get caught up in your first guess because it's most likely not there. Oktoberfest isn't the only fest fun coming up. Today is the first day of Cranfest. The Warren's Cranberry Festival is set to celebrate 50 years of tradition this weekend. The world's largest cranberry festival is free to attend, and thousands sure do, all to experience Wisconsin's major crop. Organizers say Cranfest brings the county more than $4 million in revenue each year. The annual Plein Air Painting Between the Bluff Festival will be hosting a few events this weekend. The weekend-long festival starts with an artist reception and awards at 6 p.m. till 9 tonight at Studio Gallery 1311 in La Crosse on Saturday. There will be a quick paint competition at La Crosse's Grandad Bluff City Park starting at 10. There will also be holding their gallery art show and sale on Saturday from 11 till 4 and Sunday from noon to 3. The event will be free to attend, and all the paintings will be original works created within a 15-mile radius of downtown La Crosse.
And as you head out the door this morning, temperatures will be warming up into the mid to upper 60s as we head into the later morning hours, with a chance of a few scattered showers as well. You may run into some of those hit and miss showers here throughout the day. Otherwise, expect a cloudy day with highs into the mid 70s this afternoon. Check on your 8-day forecast. So we do have some good chances of showers and storms tonight that could linger into this weekend as well, with highs into the 70s. First day of fall is tomorrow, and then afterwards it looks like our highs will be right around that seasonable level into those low to mid 70s heading into next week. So enjoy the much needed rain here today through this weekend, because it does look like next week will be much drier.
Absolutely. And marking tomorrow as the first day of fall, what better way than Oktoberfest?
Yeah, Oktoberfest.
I adore Mrs. Oktoberfest. She was so kind.
Phenomenal. Yeah,
so
she was
kind.
great.
Her pin, her motto is actually "Be kind always," and it's just so sweet.
Yeah, and it's true though. Be kind always.
Always. She was so lovely.
Even if you're having a rough day.
Exactly, exactly. You never know how your kindness can affect someone else's
Exactly,
day.
very true.
I'm so excited for her and all of the festivities she's going to participate in.
So let that be a lesson to be nice to her.
I am nice to you. I just tease you. There's a difference. There's a difference. I'm not bullying you.
I've had viewers message me saying, "Du is so mean to you," and I'm just like, I know, right?
It's all
I feel like I'm
out
the
of love.
victim. She's
it's
the bully.
all out of love. It's all out of love. Be kind, Derek, to me.
So if it's out of love, then I deserve a present or something. You owe me something.
Here you go.
I already have one. She gave me one. I don't want yours. I have my own.
That's so mean. Thank you for watching. We'll see you back here later today.